December 1st, 2014 is when we'd be introduced to Terence's cousin Tony in the On Thin Ice episode in Angry Birds Seasons. This episode was about Terence travelling to Finland to visit Tony, implying that that's the country Tony lives in and that the Angry Birds world, Piggy Island, it all exists in our Earth with all the other countries that exist here. Though obviously not the first time that's implied, considering we have Angry Birds Rio and all these other times that the birds go to other countries, so yeah, it's confirmed that Angry Birds takes place in our world. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is about Tony, because he's finally back. He made his reappearance this year in Angry Birds Reloaded, and that's what the video is going to be about. But let's talk about all his other appearances first. So as previously discussed, he first appeared in On Thin Ice in Angry Birds Seasons in 2014. And this episode was obviously released for Christmas, as obviously we can see with all the snow, and the fact that Tony's blue, which obviously, is a very icy, Christmassy colour to show that he lives in the snow, which it makes sense. He looks and sounds exactly like Terence, even only speaking in grunge just like Terence himself does, as we can see in the On Thin Ice cinematic trailer. This trailer is really nice in general, because it just shows Terence and Tony hanging out, being bros, which I think is really nice to see, especially with a character like Terence, who we only just see brooding in the corner, growling, so it's nice to see him actually have a life. And they even smile at the end, so that's quite lovely. Yeah, On Thin Ice is considered a classic episode in Angry Birds Seasons, at least to me. I loved On Thin Ice. It was one of my favourite episodes, considering Terence was my favourite character growing up in the franchise. So, an episode focusing about him and his cousin, of course I was going to love that. And Tony himself is just Terence but better, because he acts exactly like Terence. If you need to use a Terence-like situation with him, where you just need to destroy a bunch of structures, you can use that with him as well. But unlike Terence, if you tap screen when he's in the air, he'll come crashing down on any structure that's below him, which again is amazing. Terence don't have that, so that makes him Terence but better. If you had the choice to use Terence or Tony, why would you pick Terence? There would be no reason to do so, to me. Tony would appear 2 more times in Angry Birds Seasons, that being the 2015 Christmas update, Skewer Squeal, and the 2016 Christmas update, and the final update in general of Angry Birds Seasons, called Ragnarok. Here, he'd just play the exact same roles with the exact same powers, exact same design, no really any differences with him. But it is implied that he's the one visiting the birds this time, instead of Terence being the one to visit him, which is cool, I guess. Tony would also have a cameo appearance in the 2017 game Angry Birds Dice as an ice spell, but that's all it was just a cameo, and the game is no longer available, and was only soft launched in certain countries. And the game ran on servers, so even if you have the APK for the game, you can't play it anymore, so yeah. He would also make a cameo appearance on Angry Birds for Facebook Messenger, which was a game released for Facebook Messenger in 2018. In this game, he appears on the loading screen for it, and he's also on the loading screen for the YouTube Playables port of the game released in 2024, which is called Angry Birds Showdown. But he's not playable in this game. In fact, Angry Birds Showdown is basically just in terms of art style, is very similar to Angry Birds 2. And all the characters in it are the main playable birds from that game, apart from Silver. And the gameplay is just, you play against another player, you have a certain colour pigs to pop, they have certain colour pigs to pop, and whoever pops the pigs first wins. It's really not that great a game, to be honest. Yeah. Unlike most random Angry Birds characters, Tony never got any merch of him. He wasn't on a t-shirt, he wasn't on anything, they didn't give him anything. But he was originally going to have a plush, as seen by Maximus Overdrive in his Commonwealth Collection videos. As you can see, the plush looks great, he's all furry, he's blue, he looks just like Tony. So it's a shame this plush was cancelled, because I fucking would have copped this straight away as soon as it came out, but yeah, it was cancelled, so yeah, that's quite sad. And that's it for all of Tony's appearances. That is, until June of 2024, when Angry Birds Reloaded would get the Midsummer Mayhem 2 update released in June 2024. It was a sequel to the episode Midsummer Mayhem, which was an episode released in June of 2022, so it's quite funny they're making a sequel to it now, 2 years after it came out, but oh well. But Midsummer Mayhem came out in June of 2024, and it, to my knowledge at least, is the first episode in the entire of Reloaded to feature all brand new levels made for Reloaded, with, I don't think at least, a single one being reused. I could be wrong in this, I have no clue, but to me, I don't think any of them are reused, which I think is pretty cool. And Tony in this game, he's just like he was in Seasons, but seems even more powerful, which I think is cool. They've given him new voice lines as well, which I think is kind of strange. In the original Seasons, he just reused all of Terence's voice lines. But in Reloaded, he just uses Terence's classic voice lines, as well as 4 different other ones, which I think is weird. And he also uses Terence's original launch sound from the classic games when you tap the screen and he comes crashing down, which I also think is quite strange. It's also quite funny that Tony is the main character in Midsummer Mayhem 2, considering he's an icy character associated with snow in Finland, and obviously not summer, but oh well. But yeah, Midsummer Mayhem 2 is honestly a very good level. Some of the structures are really cool, really unique. They use all the Abraca Bacon portals to launch Tony through to come and make him go crashing down structures, really powerful. It's really cool, it seems really well thought out. As well as there's a fucking boss battle at the end of the level, which I really was not expecting. With like a bunch of like flies and like Leonards of fly at the end. It's quite weird, but it's quite funny as well. Because again, I wasn't expecting to see it. The boss battle kind of reminded me of Beak Impact Part 1's Rengered Space, where there was obviously the wormhole with all the pig robots coming out. And you had to destroy them, and then once all of them were destroyed, King Pig came in his like little space cruiser, and you had to destroy them, and obviously the levels ended. So it kind of reminded me of that bit, which I think is cool. That was a nice boss battle. So if they had to like take inspiration from one, good that was that one, I guess. But it's not a complete copy of the boss battle because obviously Tony's not on the original level, Hal and Bobbles are not on the original level, but obviously they're all in this version of it. So you can tell that they really like changed the pigs layouts to obviously appeal to those bars who are in the level. So again, it's not a total copy. So I think that's cool. Honestly, the return of Tony in Midsummer Mayhem 2 is just a really, really ultra rare W for Modern Rovio. It's a really good level, and Tony is one of my favorite characters, so seeing him be in the game is really cool. And yeah, that's it. Subscribe and like the video. Goodbye.